camera on, mic ready, everything's perfect, apart from her face. It's literally a breakfast plate. I thought you meant wide.
Open your eyes in 3,
Well, I've got to
2,
take my blindfold off, mate.
1. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So on that note, the winner of our first competition for GECKO'S Basement
winner is...
Hello.
How are we?
Welcome back to Suits and Sliders, your go-to business podcast.
With a young and modern twist.
Yeah, baby.
Back to the pitching days.
Episode 16, mate.
16. Woo! Sweet 16.
Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? Definitely.
And we're getting into quite a fun
What are we doing?
one today.
Yeah, go on. Tell them.
So we've covered a lot of angles for you people. We've covered creating the idea. We've covered setting up, making sure you know what company. We've covered going online. We've covered a pitch. But who is it that you're pitching to? That's the question today.
Your dog, your nan.
Your dog. If you're pitching to your dog, best of luck. Who you're pitching to is going to be your investors. Hopefully, your investors. And so today is talking about the investors. Well, I mean, I've pitched this to millions of people who've got no competence of that.
We'll get onto that. All of that's good stuff anyway.
But yeah, we're going to get into everything about finding your investor, the people that help you start the project, because we believe in the ideology that you shouldn't necessarily deplete all your savings, like quit your job and throw everything into the business.
Yes.
We think that have a job that supports your finances enough to cover your bills and convenience of life. Outside of that, the money should go towards projects, entertainment, your dreams, your passions, your love, everything like that. So
100%. It's usually your like after hours, after work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's spare time to basically build a dream.
Exactly.
For yourself.
You shouldn't put yourself in a position which is like taking out loans and having that hang over your head when you're trying to start a business, because things won't move in the way that you expect them to. Is this podcast has moved in the way that you thought it was going to?
You know what, actually, right? The other day, just looked at my student loan and everything like that, right?
I looked at mine the other day.
Oh, mate, don't even get me started. Anyway,
it's brutal,
from when I started to where I am now, the money's gone up.
What?
In terms of interest and everything. Mental.
You're joking.
Crazy.
And you've been paying it off since you started working?
Pretty much.
In your pay slips? I've been paying mine off since I started working as well.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate
I
as much
looked
as
at
you,
the last year, sorry. It was like... But last year, like, I started my work and job and everything like that, but mental, isn't it?
That's insane.
The interest made it go up.
Oh my days, that's
crazy.
I thankfully didn't appreciate that as many fun loans, but I've still got thousands of pounds in mine as well.
Yeah,
still, that's probably, and I mean, for a lot of people, they never pay theirs off.
No, but that's the whole point. I mean, student loans itself are in like ridiculous debt. I think it's like over 200 million or billion or something. People haven't like paid anything off.
Failure of the system in many ways.
Craziness.
But instead of having another loan hang over your head, people, we say get an investor, somebody who believes in the project as much as you do, because that reinforces the fact that the project's probably a good idea. From there, that's the money you run with. Be smart, be calculated. But before we get into it, let's talk about us becoming millionaires rapidly instead.
Smart and calculated, ladies and gentlemen.
Smart and calculated. Spat then.
Smart and calculated.
We've gone for a big one today.
We're going for
celebrate Sweet 16.
Big ones.
So,
right, you go first,
I'll go first. Right, we've got finding a diamond in the rough. I've got a ring, a plane, a rainbow, a VIP, a bank, and a chalice, I'm afraid. Game 2, find the Mr. Lottery symbol. Try and do that. Is it like
cross finger?
It's like that, isn't it?
Literally that. Yeah.
That's how it looks. And I didn't find him. Finally, my winning number was number 7.
I thought you were going to say 16.
I had 9, I had 15, and I had 27. I'm afraid, not 7.
Right.
So I didn't win today.
So diamond, I got key bank, VIP, cloud plane, and a gold cup. Moving on. The little lotto finger thing, whatever it is. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, crown and sun.
Gosh.
Winning number 14.
14.
19.
19.
16.
16.
Episode 16.
Almost there.
13.
13 as well. That's taking the mick.
I need to practice that. Just goes down there. Like a pathetic fart.
Anyway, we are going to get...
Let's get into it.
Another thing. Just before we get into it, we've got a brilliant new segment to kick things off.
We're about to get into it.
And we're going to call it GECKO'S Basement.
I keep calling it grotto, but we'll get
Gecko's
onto
Grotto.
it.
What do you like more, Gecko's Grotto or Gecko's Basement? Let us know.
Just say grotto for the sake of me saying it right.
A little play on Dragon's Den, but we'll spoil no further. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, this is an exciting one. Gecko's Basement.
Brand new segment.
Brand new segment. Now, the name might be a little bit funny to people, but I'll explain the story behind the name.
Go on.
Gecko's
Give it a
Basement
background.
is a derivative of Dragon's Den,
Better.
but better. So it's a little bit of a play on words there for anyone that notices the pun. But simple terms is we're going to hear... We are the Geckos. We are going to hear people's business ideas, and we're going to choose one lucky one.
I'm actually so excited for this.
To win
Yeah.
50
quid.
pounds.
Bearing in mind, we've had 4 entries. So these 4 people have a very high chance of winning 50 quid.
And if you've got any ideas, we know there's a few more coming in the future. We will try and feature it on a
Yeah.
future episode. So if you've got any ideas, 60-second max video into one of our Instagram DMs or the socials and stuff like that, by all means, please feel free. Or get a message in the comments. We'll try and reach out to you and get some communication going that way. We've also got an email out about, which I'm sure you can find in the link below. Without further
Contact
ado,
us on anything. Yeah, let's get into it, man. I'm excited.
We're gonna
I'm
start
excited.
off-
We got videos. Good little
we've got some
videos.
good ones. We're going to start off with this chap who's apparently had one of his videos already go viral. With touchgrass.now by Reese Kentish. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Maybe Rise Kentish. I don't know. Apologies for that, Rise. Anyway,
It's probably Reese.
here we are. Are you ready? We are gonna.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
gotta watch.
swiped off.
Here we go. I think it's this one. No, it wasn't that one. It's this one. There we are.
App to end doom scrolling by literally touching grass. Day one. Yep, you heard that right. To unblock your apps, you literally have to touch grass. I think that's genius. Here's me doing it. This is proof of concept. If I detect that you're touching grass, your apps will be unblocked. I also just got the domain touchgrass.now. So there's a wait list on there if you want to sign up and have this when it's out, because I'm so excited for this. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. Follow along for any updates on this and I'll keep you posted.
Okay. So it's already out.
So it would already be out.
Yeah,
by
it's
now.
well out.
Yes, 'cause this one was
That's
older videos.
interesting. Initial thoughts?
I love it.
I think it's a brilliant
I think that's
idea.
really cool.
Because I've
yeah.
seen lots of things. So there's ones where you can like plant a tree. So you put a seed in and this company then plant a tree for you. But you've got to let it grow for X amount of hours till you can go on your phone again. And if you stop it, like you lose points or something like that.
Wow.
But I like that because it gets you to go outside and actually physically touch grass.
It does.
And there is a bit of growth because he could then turn that into touching a tree, touching a plant, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and like it's this whole anti-brain rot stuff, which I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are going to buy into,
Yeah,
which is a really good
because screen
idea.
times now are like probably through the roof with the younger generation as well.
Exactly.
I like it.
I really like
I
it.
like
well
it.
done, Reese. We're going to get on to
Oh.
the next one now. This next one comes in... Oh, grab my iPad for this one. This next one comes in from Ava.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name's Ava and this is
Ava.
my business idea. So my parents are first generation immigrants from Iran, and me being born here, I've always wanted to be more connected to my culture. So talking to some extended family members, I actually found out that we've been growing saffron in rural regions of the country for generations. So my idea was to create a perfume line centered around saffron, with each perfume within the line representing a different region of Iran. See, people don't really know that Iran is actually really rich in its agriculture. So I wanted each fragrance to represent a different agricultural region of the country and showcasing the different herbs and spices associated with each. Each bottle within the range would come with some of our own hand-picked saffron from Iran that we've flown in. And so we really wanted to represent a side of Iran that I feel like is not really showcased in mainstream media. So yeah, hopefully in the future I'll be able to launch my brand Gulzar, which means a field of flowers in Farsi. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Okay.
I like the name.
Interesting.
I definitely like the
Yeah,
name.
the name's really good.
That is a really good name.
Interesting concept as well. I quite like that.
I like the niche.
Yeah, very niche.
I'll say one thing. Like, in
Don't
terms
know
of-
what saffron smells like though, personally.
Saffron's apparently one of the nicest smelling things.
It's a
Like,
spice, isn't it?
yeah, I think it's a spice
Yeah.
like, itself, but it smells incredible. It's
Okay.
got a very strong smell from what I remember. One thing I would say about that as like a composite is a business with longevity. I think that probably has more saturation to it than the anti-brain rot stuff. In case, like, because you know how
Yeah, in
see what I
terms of
mean? And
scalability, is that what you
scalability,
mean? Yeah,
exactly.
Because there's
I think
only
they're both really
I do,
standout
yeah,
ideas,
yeah.
but yeah,
In terms of like popularity as well, like she mentioned, it's quite niche.
exactly.
Whereas the other one, I feel like that could be spread worldwide very quickly.
Yeah.
This is an app.
I completely agree.
But
So,
I do like the idea. It's interesting
I
that.
really like the idea.
Yeah.
It's one I've not heard of.
I mean, they
before.
could scale it to go different countries, longer term, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So they can do Iran and then move on to another
Yeah, they
country.
can
another
actually do like
country.
worldwide spices
Yeah.
and stuff. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that
is
might be
really good.
appealing.
Well
Yeah.
done, Arva. Right, we're going to move on to
And if she does make them, like, send us a bottle and we'll try it and
Yeah,
spray them. Try it
definitely.
out, you know.
We're now moving on to Alex.
Okay.
Right, here we are.
My name is Alex. I'm 33. I live in London.
Oh, I like the subtitles.
My dream is to make solar energy accessible through community-driven solar farms. Basically, it's a platform which helps you to connect to a community solar farm and generate income from selling to the grid at the highest prices. And to join the community, connect with people who would like to build in your area. And then we work with partners to construct the solar farm on unused land. So my why is I want to help people to have a sustainable life and don't depend on the energy companies as much as they do now, because every time they increase prices, people don't have a lot of choice but to follow and pay the bill. So while
That's the end of the video.
Okay, yeah, well, 60 seconds is the cut-off, isn't it? Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean,
It's very modern, which I like.
It is. The issue in the UK that you might face is the government schemes and grants that they
True.
give to farmers, because they give a lot of, is it subsidies and stuff like that, where they use their farm and they either put solar panels, they then pay the farmers X amount of money, and they seem to work because it's quite a big deal that they get. So
Yeah.
you've got to rival that, which
But
is
something
tough.
that brings in community to that, I think, could do really well. Like if people were wanting to take back control of it to a certain degree, I mean, spearheading that movement.
I
which would be
think
smart,
there is definitely a gap there, because
Yeah.
it shouldn't be ran by big energy companies or the government itself.
Yeah.
Like if you can create something where it works, I'm just not too sure about the laws and regulations of it as of yet.
Same here.
But yeah, an uproar could be good on that.
It certainly could. Right.
Interesting. I like the big ambition idea. Wow.
Some of these are incredible.
We've gone from
really.
an app to a fragrance to solar panels.
Yeah.
Mental. I
Wow.
love it.
And our last one, this came in through from a message. So I'm going to read it out for everybody. So here's the idea. It came in from Mr. Joe Whelan.
Patreon member.
A Patreon
eh? Oh,
member.
does that sway out?
I
But
don't-
you
I
should
don't-
have
it
told
shouldn't.
me that.
Well, yeah, I said everybody else's name.
Yeah, true, but you shouldn't have told me it was Joe
Yeah.
Whelan, 'cause we know him.
So the
Bit of
idea
biased view here.
is
Yeah, go on.
we see remote work and location independence being a big thing. We partner/buy in picturesque locations, Bali, etc. These properties that are super vibrant with local art and well-designed floor plans, basically like super edgy office spaces. People can subscribe to the platform and use credits to book rooms on any of our properties across the world. So we're encouraging the work wherever culture while also maximizing our space utilization. We could go further and partner each location locally with an event night, so on and so forth. So wherever you go, you can have a built-in social network with flexible workers. So basically, office spaces around the world for remote workers that they can go and tune in. If let's say it was like an influencer going overseas, I guess like a social media guy, they could go to one of these office spaces in Bali, so on and so forth. Pretty good idea, actually.
Interesting, yeah.
I've not heard him come out with this before, so this is the first time I've heard
No,
of
it's
this.
interesting. I guess, so he's obviously looking at remote workers only.
Yeah.
Which is in its own self like a very small population.
Sure.
Slash with where everything's going now, they're asking people to come into the office a lot more. The remote working's kind of starting to get eased out.
Yeah.
But the worldwide kind of part, I could really buy into
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, if you've got offshore people working for you remotely, they can then all jump into a nice edgy office. It looks clean in the background and everything like that, and they could all communicate together.
True.
I guess it kind of gets rid of the remote working aspect, though.
It does. That's a good point.
So if people are happy working from home and now there's an office, what would make them go into it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, good point. Maybe if it was like...
I'd like to hear more about it almost.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's a few questions I'd like
It's
to ask.
a really good substance there, but just a bit more fleshing out the idea.
It's interesting. You know what I think would be maybe a better idea on top of that?
Go on.
Is all the companies nowadays obviously have a lot of remote workers, right? But they have these huge offices with 5-story buildings that are pretty much empty.
True.
So if you could do something around utilizing that office space into maybe artwork or something like that, or some sort of club,
Like creating just edgy offices independently.
and maybe get the companies to either rent out their office spaces to you for a good fee, because it costs them a fortune to run an empty building.
True.
Or even sell that and then potentially look to buy up and soup up in the future. You never know, mate.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, so those are our 4
I like
ideas.
them, man. I like them.
Do we want to like take a minute to deliberate?
Yeah, let's take a minute.
Let's take it. We're going to take a minute to
Have a
deliberate
little
now,
fast forward
and
edit,
then we're going to
maybe.
come back. We're going to give our kind of final summary of who's going to win, and we'll announce it to you shortly. So stay tuned.
Little
We'll be
fast
back in
forward edit.
just a second. Right.
Cool, man.
Fast forwarding.
Right.
We are back.
I can't believe actually how long that took.
That was
us to
really
debate.
tough.
Wow, there's some brilliant ideas.
Some really good ideas, and
Like, I'm actually a bit mind blown. Like, I didn't think it'd be this good
Our first
so
thought.
early. Do you know what I mean?
Neither
Yeah,
did
the
I.
OGs, absolute OGs.
Yeah, credit
Right.
to each one of you. You
I
are
mean, yeah.
incredible people. You really are.
So, do you want to just announce who we have selected as the winner?
Should I have anything said behind it, or do you want to announce it? Should we say? What I will say is all of your pictures were fantastic.
Yeah.
We can see that there's companies here that are at different stages in their development, and we love that. We definitely want to hear about your journeys as you all progress, and we definitely want to see you progress. I think that's the main thing there.
Yeah.
We've gone for an idea that we think's got some good legs to it.
Yep.
We think it's got some good scalability to it.
And we think the 50 quid will actually go a long way within this.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be impactful.
Definitely. So on that note, the winner of our first competition for GECKO'S Basement
winner is...
Are we saying the company or the name? What do you want to see?
Company name.
Company, yeah.
Goza.
Well done
to
Very
Arva.
good. Very good. Field of flowers, yeah.
Very good pitch, very eloquent. We feel like that money could definitely go towards growing socials for you and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. You smashed it in terms of the 60 seconds that you had. You pitched pretty much everything that we needed to know.
Yeah.
And we actually walked away with limited questions.
That's really
that.
left us with very few questions.
Some of the other pitches we had, we needed to know a bit more. But obviously you've got 60 seconds, so it's really tough.
Yeah.
And we do think that 50 quid you can utilise, go sign up on Company's House, get all the handles for your name, and start the vision.
But I'm going to be downloading that app about touching grass.
Oh,
I'm going to be checking out the websites, Alex's solar company, because that looks really good as well, pal. Whelan, mate, we love you to bits.
I want to see Whelan get on it.
I want to see Whelan get on it. Like, mate, develop it a little bit more. Maybe if you've got a bit more legs to it, an idea,
100%.
a name, all that sort of stuff, we can get you back on.
Yeah,
a future
100%.
one.
Same for Alex as well. If you can give us a bit more the next time we do this, it'd be brilliant. With the app and the touch grass, it's brilliant. I love it.
I think it's already off and running more than us.
It's doing amazing. You've got 1.7 million views and stuff like that. You're blowing up, mate.
Yeah,
we haven't even touched
yet.
that. So we thought like 50 quid would probably go further with, I guess.
But yeah, we'll link. We'll have all of your tags pop up while your video's on there. Hopefully that can get some exposure for you guys.
Fantastic.
Thank you ever so much.
Massively appreciate it though. Thanks for sending the videos.
Yeah, much love to all of you. Right, let's get back into it, shall we?
Back into it.
Woohoo!
Wow.
And we are back from GECKO'S Basement.
Congratulations to the winner.
Very well done.
Defo deserved. And to be fair, anyone that submitted, they're all top tier in my opinion.
We'll definitely feature the winner as well on our social media.
Yeah, maybe even get them
go
on the
check
pod.
them out if you haven't already seen it.
Who knows?
Maybe if you want to see them in the pod, guys.
Yeah,
Get in the comment
down below.
section. What should we say? Should we say a certain amount of likes? We don't usually do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I
Say
mean,
likes?
what? What are we going to go for? Like 15?
No, I'm thinking like
20?
25.
25?
25 likes on the video. Yeah.
50.
50?
Yeah. 50.
We're doing it. We're
we can
doing
do
50. We're doing 50. We want them on
likes.
anyway, but like, let's do 50. Let's
50
push ourselves.
likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's push the audience.
And then I have to send all the messages to their mates. I like this video.
Yeah,
like this video. Right.
Subscribe.
And we are getting into talking about finding an investor.
We are indeed. And I
Any
guess
sort of things to kick us off?
Yeah, like what do investors want really?
True.
That's the main thing. I think
Yeah.
that's where we should start. So personally, from what I know, what investors probably are looking for, especially when you're pitching some sort of product or whatever it may be, they want a clear and scalable business.
Yeah, certainly.
Something where they can really see the blueprint and they can have clarity in terms of where their money is going to go, and
Yeah.
also understand the scalability of it, so they know it's going to grow in the future and they'll get some sort of return.
Yeah, it's all about what's in it for them. That's the main
Huge.
phraseology when it comes to anything investment.
Huge.
What's in it for them? It's not what's in it for you. You know what's in it for you because you're going to them with the plan. You've got to create a mentality and a kind of presentation which brings them in to go, I'm getting something really good out of this.
Yeah, massive.
And that's the whole catch of finding
And I guess
investor.
following on from your point, like getting something good out of it, if you have a bit of proof of concept as well,
Yeah.
like if you actually have the physical product itself and you can show it to them and they can touch it and feel it, whatever it may be, or use it,
Yeah.
then that in itself almost trumps everything.
Without doubt.
But if you don't have that, but you have the concept and the idea and the kind of understanding of where it can be, that's huge as well, because it puts a kind of an image in the investor's head and they go, oh, I can really see this coming to life.
And that reminds me, if you haven't already gone and checked it out,
What?
Patreon,
Yeah.
£4 a month, 13p a day, best value for money of anything you're going to get in your life. You not only get the original promo video, sorry, the initial promo
You get
video that
the-
we put out,
yeah.
you get the original, the raw
OG.
cut, what Jamie and I fumbled together over the course of a couple of days.
With
that we
our
presented.
lovely filming degrees that we have behind us.
Our Oscar-worthy performances.
Crazy.
Very cringy, but very funny, I think, in terms of what we were trying to put
Oh
out there.
man, yeah.
And it's
a good
on our
laugh, it's a
Patreon,
good
the actual
laugh.
original promo video. Not the one that you've all seen. That was our sort of stage 2. Our very first cut is on the Patreon, so go check it out.
And to be fair, that is what we pitched to our investors.
Every
isn't
investor
it?
saw that, yeah.
It was like, this is what we can do. Now imagine if we had X, Y, Z.
Exactly.
And that's what led to the one you've probably seen.
Exactly.
So moving on, you've obviously got market knowledge, growth
Yeah.
potential, as we kind of alluded to before. Who are your competitors? Your investor needs to know this before purchasing into your company or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know it, they don't understand how you differentiate from the current market that's out there. So you need to understand who are your competitors, who's playing the game alongside you, and how do you beat them.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, the other thing that you also want to reach when it comes to talking to these investors is like making that initial connection with these people. You've got to realize that their time is going to be pretty like futile for you. So you need to be impactful early doors with them. And that comes through from the messaging to the pitch to everything else, which we'll get onto a bit more later.
Yeah, 100%.
But their time is very valuable. If you're looking to utilize their time to invest in you, make sure you make every sort of second count, because you don't want to sort of be frugal with it and have them become bored or whatever else, because
No,
that's a direct
100%.
line
And I
towards them
think
not investing.
The biggest thing out of all of this as well is make sure you're credible and you have a credible team behind you.
Yeah.
So this was a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
When we went into the pitch, we were like, we're going to go to people because not only do they kind of want to invest into our idea and what we're doing, they want to invest into us.
Yeah.
As people,
Definitely.
and we want to get that across. Like, we work well together, we work hard, and that we know we can actually utilize their money and do really well with it. It's almost like you have the idea, let's say, or the concept, but you're really betting on the racer,
That's
the
a
driver
really good
behind the
point.
car,
Yeah.
because he's the one going to steer it. So a lot of people actually look into the individual rather than your business plan, because if they believe in you, then they probably believe whatever you're thinking of will work.
That's a great point. I mean, unless you've got anything further, I've got a story about one big individual.
Yeah,
in
no,
the
go
game.
ahead. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a man that I think is a household name, which for the occupation he has, to be a household name is insane.
He's a, oh, go on. Yeah, go on.
Mr. Warren Buffett. As many of you know, this
Yeah.
man came into the investment scene as like pretty much a paper round boy
Yeah.
and left as the biggest fish in the ocean. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
man
he's about to
did
step
incredibly
away
well.
now, isn't he?
He has
officially stepped
he's
away or
continued
not?
his process of stepping away.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
choosing his
yeah.
successor. He's doing all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. The other day, he had a conference to sort of meet with all the people that were part of Berkshire Hathaway, and he got a 15-minute standing ovation before he said a word.
Mental.
So somebody to get a 15-minute standing ovation
Yeah.
in like a corporation the size
Yeah.
of that,
Crazy.
it just goes to show how people believe in him more than anything.
yeah. Well, he's done it. He's a proven concept.
Exactly. So for people who don't know him very well, Mr. Warren Buffett was born in Omaha back in the 1930s. Studied at Columbia and a couple of other positions on his way. He was studying mainly like business degrees and stuff like that, and then found his passion through investment. And he launched a partnership back in 1956. I can't remember what the company was named, but basically promising good investments on undervalued companies because he thought that was where the game was. You could see the companies were scaling at a massive rate sort of during the back end of like the war and coming out of war times and stuff like that. Companies were skyrocketing in terms of their personal value.
But prior to that, apparently he started officially investing at 11 years old.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
What were
Wow.
you doing at 11?
What was I doing at 11? I was learning how to wipe my arse. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like sniffing glue or something in the corner. Do you know what I mean?
Climbing
Mental.
trees, probably. That's what I was doing.
I wish I invested back when I was 11
imagine?
into things that we
Do you know
have now.
what? Funny story. My stepbrother,
Yeah.
brilliant guy. His name's Adam. Got a business of his own. Maybe I'll speak to Adam about it. And he himself has always been very highly astute when it comes to investing and stuff like that. And I remember back, he must have been just a teenager, maybe 13 or 14. I remember going down to him once and I was like, "Oh, what do you want for your birthday present or Christmas present?" And he's like, "I'm not too sure." He goes, "I have asked Dad to invest in stocks for me." And I was like,
Crazy.
what? He'd invested, I'm pretty sure, in Walt Disney and a couple of
Yeah,
other little
yeah.
corporations. Like back when he was 13, that's what his brain was doing. He's gone on to do really well, making like an SEO sort of company. I was there like, I thought you were going to say football.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, but then I look at like the generations coming through nowadays.
Yeah.
They're so switched on in terms of business, finance, goals, everything like that.
especially when the education system hasn't catched up
Yeah.
or caught up.
No, it
Caught up.
hasn't. It has nowhere near caught up. But like, mate, back in the day when I was 14, 15, 16, I didn't know what studio I was doing. I know you did because we were together.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
16 as well.
We both talking
But
rubbish to
mate,
each other.
nowadays they're like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm going to start this side hustle and all that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
brilliant to see, but
Oh, without a doubt. I think that's another thing.
think that's
because it's
social
becoming
media
more.
side of
That's what I was about
things.
to say.
Yeah.
It's almost influencership that's having that effect on
100%.
people.
The TikToks, the Instas, and all of that lot.
Exactly. Anyway, Mr. Warren Buffett in 1965 took control of Berkshire Hathaway,
Yeah.
a big investment company, and
Crazy.
shifted it from a textile firm / investment company into a full-on holding company for diverse
Yeah.
businesses, basically being
Apparently-
insurance, retail, energy, all those
Yeah,
sorts
when
of
he took it on, it
corporations.
was like failing at the time.
was, yeah. And he took it to be an absolute monolithic giant.
Huge, man.
Even going through the 2008 crisis, he still like managed that whole process really well, which a lot of people on Wall Street and other companies didn't do so well. And he came out in 2024 last year with a $1 trillion valuation. I cannot comprehend the number 1 trillion.
Wow.
Let alone it being a currency that a company is valued at.
Mental.
Can you I can't think of a trillion of anything.
No.
It's just mental.
You can't fathom it, can you?
And do you know what the best thing that I like about this chap is he's still very humble in his approach. You can see that through the YouTube stuff that's out there or documentaries about him. And every single morning there's this really cute routine that he has, similar to our routine at Hartbury. He has the same breakfast routine every day. And he drives to work and
Yeah.
he stops in at a Mackey's drive-thru
Yeah.
every morning, and his wife, bless her, puts a certain amount of change in his like cup pocket.
Right.
And if she puts something like $2.50, he gets like an egg McMuffin. If she puts $2.99, he gets a bacon and egg McMuffin. If it's like $3.15, he gets like a sausage, bacon and egg McMuffin. Like that's how he
Right.
chooses his breakfast every day with whatever his
Just
wife puts
random
in.
change that. Yeah.
Yeah,
fair.
and there was a day where he was driving in and the guy was recording him and he was like, well, market's a little bit down today, so even though I've got $3.15, I'm going to go for the $2.50 egg McMuffin and stuff. This man has money every orifice to the brim.
Crazy.
And he's got this mentality
It
about
kind of
being
alludes to that
smart.
point. Like, is it good to kind of be not boring, but it is almost like you're going safe and
Yeah.
sticking with the same stuff because you know it works, or is
True.
it worth going for the risky stuff?
I think a lot of his process throughout life has been playing it reasonably safe, but then doing so much research that he's picked some of the what is perceived as riskier bets as safe bets in his mind,
Yeah.
and that's actually paid off a lot of the time for him. But like in terms of his spending and stuff like that, I think the best thing to take from Warren Buffett is something we can apply in our own lives and people can apply in their own lives back home is once you start getting a little bit of money in the door, don't go spending it all at once. Like he's still very frugal and all that sort of stuff, which is smart. Like he's not one of these fake entrepreneurs that says, "Oh yeah, I've got a bit of success here, now I'm going to buy a boat." I'm sure he probably does have a boat, but like, do you know what I mean?
No, but you see so many people get a hint of fame, a bit of success, and they blow it within 2 years, and then they're nobodies again.
True. Which actually brings me on to the question of the week.
Go on in.
So, during the first stage of starting a business, is it more professional to have a manner where you work and start a business, or is it better to have that risk association and go, no, I need to give it all, I need to give it my full motivation, and leave your job, deplete finances, and go for the business? What do you think? Because we've seen people do it both ways.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, nowadays I think it's risky just to blow it all off and go straight into it. But I do think there's an element of, if you do just ditch your job and you go straight into it, then you have to give it everything you've got 24/7. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to pay your bills, your rent, or whatever it may be. So
true. I've spoken to a few people over the last year when this podcast has all been like in its early growth and infancy. And I said to people, have you got any business ideas, business dreams? While I'm almost practicing my pitch, which we'll get onto later. And the amount of people that say, oh yeah, I tried this once. I was doing okay for a bit actually. And then like it just kind of wilted away. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Wilted away? What? Like, how? And like, because they are still working, the priorities aren't there, which is understandable, but you could realize that zoning in completely could benefit you. At the same time, as you well mentioned, that level of risk, especially when it comes to maybe your first business, might not be the smartest idea.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of like people argue, don't they? Like, is skin in the game? It means you're serious. Yeah. I mean, others say don't gamble everything straight away. But my personal opinion would be, if you like really have a solid plan and you think it's going to work, but you can't afford to invest X amount of time in to make it properly work, I would say get like an emergency fund. Yeah. Kind of go for 8 months to 12 months of what you can live off for a month.
Bare minimums.
Yeah.
What you can live
almost like what your wage may be now each month. Try save up for 6 to 8 months of it, or maybe even 12 months. And then just go for it.
Yeah.
Because then you know you've got a backup of maybe a year. You can actually give it a good little crack.
Yeah.
And if it all fails, you can go back into the job market too. But that's a whole year you can just dedicate to your whatever it may be, dream, investment, whatever it is. And then hopefully out of the end of it, you're seeing some money come through.
Do you know what? I agree with that completely. If you're going to do that in terms of walking away from a job in order to focus in, then give yourself a dependency fund, but then go for it. You need to work twice as hard as you were doing in your normal work, at least.
Yeah. It's 24/7 almost.
It pretty much is.
Switch off. But that's only if you're an individual. I think if you have a business partner like we have at the moment, I think there is room for both people to work, and also kind of one's part-time, I'm part-time, that makes one full-time role. So it kind of does work in that aspect. I mean, it's proving to work so far. But we'll let you know how we get on.
Without doubt. Shall we move on to our second segment of the day?
Yeah, man.
I've been really looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this. We've got a perfect purchase for you people to celebrate over 100 subs.
Yeah, triple digits.
We've got a new perfect purchase for you. So we're going to get into it now. I won't say anything more. And we're into perfect purchase. Oh, this was exciting.
Big one. 100 subs.
To celebrate triple digit subs on YouTube. If you haven't already subbed, hit the subscribe button because it means the world to us. We'll do milestone markers and probably bring in perfect purchase along with them. But to celebrate 100 subs, we've got a budget of £30.
Yeah, we went big.
£30.
Real big.
Jeez, it's almost as much as we spend on scratch cards.
Not quite.
And I'll go first. That's okay.
Go on. Go.
So would you like to close your eyes?
I'm closing them.
Right, close the eyes.
Shall I pop this on?
Oh, yeah. Go on then.
Ooh.
There we go. Look at that. Masterpiece.
All right. There we go.
Beautiful. So, for our viewers at home, you can see what's coming out right now. We have got something that's going to almost redefine
okay,
the aesthetic pleasure of Seats and Sliders.
Interesting.
Like to hold your hands out really far, as you can, together.
I thought you meant wide.
Open your eyes in 3,
Well, I've got to
2,
take my blindfold off, mate.
1. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
Oh!
Personalised sliders.
Are you wearing yours as well?
Look at them.
Oh, sugar!
Look
Oh,
at
that's
these
nice.
things. So we've got the Ollie and Jamie pink and white
that's banging.
sliders with our own logo on and our own name, just in case
What an
anyone forgot at
upgrade.
home or in
What an
case we
upgrade.
forgot
Get
after
rid of
drinking
these
too
bad
much
boys.
whiskey.
There you go.
I
Could
know,
sell
right?
them, mate.
We could do.
No, actually, we've got to keep
they're
them.
the
The
OGs.
OGs.
Yeah. I'm going to frame
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Different feel to
Oh,
them.
comfy. Yeah,
But I
just-
love the
we'll get used
personalisation.
to it.
Look at
Yeah,
that. They
they're
spell your name
nice.
right. I haven't checked.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Spell it right. Jermaine.
Can you imagine?
I like that.
What do you think, eh?
How much does this set you back then? Go on.
$29.99.
$29.99.
Well, actually, no, $29.98. They were $14.99 each.
Jeez.
Yeah,
where
which
from?
I was so surprised. So, from an amazing company on Etsy called A1 Personalised.
A1
right?
Personalised.
In Biggleswade.
Okay.
Incredible sort of level of communication with the brand.
Yeah.
They asked for the stuff immediately through an email form for personalisation, and they had it being sent out, I think, 3 days later, which for
Sweet.
personalised companies is insane.
Yeah.
This company, right, insane, has over 3,900 5-star reviews.
Wow.
That is mental. And if you think about just that on the review format, these aren't the only products they make, obviously.
Yeah.
They make a whole series of products. But if I just bring this up, let's call it 3,500 for keepsake, and times that average product by 15, because these were 15.
Yeah.
They have made £52,000 at their probably lowest price point just on the review front.
Revenue, yeah.
That's just on
good.
the reviews. Like, they've probably made loads more
And
sales.
do they
than
have
that.
their own website apart from
They've
Etsy?
I only saw that they operated through Etsy,
Oh,
but I think they
that's
probably
cool.
do have their own website.
Because if they did, then that'd be
'Cause there was
that
loads of
revenue would
products.
be their revenue.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Etsy would take a cut of that, unfortunately.
But that review format was only on Etsy, so they probably got other reviews elsewhere.
yeah.
They're probably on
Crazy.
Amazon and stuff. But
These
think
are
about
cool,
that.
man.
They're cool, aren't they?
They are nice.
So, yeah.
Right, my friend.
Brand new sliders that I promise to wear more often because I keep forgetting to wear my sliders when we start recording. But
I
yeah.
like these. These are nice. You know?
Cool.
Right,
you
you
got
ready?
a competition here.
You ready
because
for
I was
yours?
pretty proud of mine this week.
No, I'm proud of yours. You know what? I'll start off by saying ours is a very much a need, right? For suits and sliders.
Really?
However, I could barely find anything in the UK that could
Okay.
do what I've asked for.
Interesting.
So I had to go to the US.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I did want to get a little bit more,
Okay.
but postage basically cost me the product itself.
I see.
So I spent £16.
Okay.
Postage came out to be like another 12 or something like that. So it ended up being like
Postage,
£28. I was like,
Okay.
oh, this is kind of peak.
We stayed on the budget.
Do you want to, my friend?
My hands out, my hands in, hands up.
Get your one hand out. Oh, shall I unwrap it for you? No, I won't. I'll leave it in the bubble wrap.
Sure. Okay. Oh, interesting.
And you can open up your blindfold or whatever it is.
No
Yeah.
way.
So what I have gone for, ladies and gentlemen,
Look at
is our
these.
very own Suits and Sliders shot glass.
That's wicked.
Reason being is because before every single podcast we do, we have a little shot of whiskey and we cheers to it, don't we?
I love that.
So I think it's only right
And
if
it's so clear as
you
well.
top these up and we have
Right
a little
now?
one right now,
Let's.
mate. Because
Here
we
we go.
have officially branded our shoes and our shot glasses now. We are
We both went
one
for the
step
idea of
away from a
branding.
huge sign on our billboard.
we are.
Here we go,
Right,
mate.
There you go.
So yeah, so literally could not find anything that did something similar. But when they came, I was quite impressed because
I'm quite impressed.
It
They
looks
look
pretty
brilliant.
good.
Anything about the company?
so they're called ADG Promotions. Obviously,
Okay.
they're an American company, but they do all sorts of like glasses, stuff like that, cups, etc., etc. But I thought it's
Nice.
only right to get our official shot glass in.
I see. Well, that's a pretty cool, perfect purchase. Let's
boy.
cheers.
Yeah, man.
Cheers to all you subscribers.
Cheers
Thank
to
you to 100 of
triple
you.
digits.
You are absolute legends.
Now, if you want to see our own merch,
Oh,
because there's over 100 of you now,
there
I'm
is.
sure 100 of you will definitely buy some sliders or some shot glass.
Let us know.
Let us know and we'll drop some.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Own sliders has got to be a take.
Yeah, definitely.
Shot glass is a good shout, maybe for the future. We'll come up with some other ideas. And
You know the
hoodies
post
would be
we
sick.
had, the post of the cartoons?
Yeah.
If we could actually have one of those, or
One of
all
those.
three of them, that'd be
would
unreal.
Cool. That would be really cool.
Just have them like standing here.
Do you know what would also be cool? Like making real characters of the brain rot characters.
Yeah.
Well. Like a statue of the duplicates.
That'd be unreal, like on a shelf or something.
Yeah. We'll get some shells
That'd
and
be
stuff at some point.
class.
Rightio, people.
Rate
That was
that.
perfect purchase. That was quite cool.
Yeah, a bit wholesome, that, isn't it?
Very
Nice
wholesome.
one. Very nice one. I think yours are better, though.
I appreciate
Because
that.
of the
I
material.
like yours a lot, though.
Because of the material and stuff like that. Like, yours definitely
I'm
costs
going to be
more than
wearing
mine.
these out and about, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
100%, man.
Right, we'll get back into the episode and
Yeah.
talk a little more about investors.
Let's go.
Back from Perfect Purchase, got the fresh sliders on,
Yeah, man.
and we're talking about investors. I'm going to get straight on into it. Finding reliable investors is key. And
It's huge.
there's a lot of people that have spoken about this. It comes to quantity at the start and then quality once you've engaged. And I mean that in the sense that you are going to hear an awful amount of no's. I'm going to just tell you that straight off the bat. So you may as well give yourself 1,000 opportunities to hear a no at the chance of maybe hearing a yes. Because if 1 in 1,000 is slim, but if you only ask one person, you hear a no once, your chance of hearing a yes were even slimmer.
You can't give up on the final, like the first hurdle.
You
sorry.
definitely can't. Somebody out there is going to believe if it's a business idea, that is
Yeah.
good enough.
You got to keep banging out the door. Just keep going.
Exactly. And the way that we went about this is we first of all said, what Jamie and I tend to do is we go, let's build a list. We always usually go for the number 100 anyway, weirdly.
Yeah.
We go, let's go
Because
for a
then,
number
then we
100.
just combine it. It's usually at 150 if we cancel out some of the duplicates.
Exactly. And what we wanted to, so we wanted to come up with 100 people's names independently that we could pitch to. And then we broke that 100 down into different categories. Now, these could be weighted in different ways. It doesn't really matter. But the 4 categories we had were friends and family, people in our close network. Secondly, professionals that we know or know us well, that we've either worked alongside or know us professionally. So they have some sort of good rapport that we can reach out to.
Still within your network, but obviously not as close of a relationship as friends and family.
And people who you could see the scope for as investing.
Yeah, definitely.
Third, people who are professionals or already investors within the industries you're excited by or you're going into, because those people are going to be easier to get proof of concept across to.
Yeah.
And
Because
the
they
final.
understand the market and they'll probably get your niche.
And they could also give some great tips and
Yeah,
tricks when it comes to that Q&A
huge.
section.
That's
So
actually a huge
that's a
point.
really important
Yeah.
point. And then fourth is angel investors, VC funds, all of that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. That can be like a 4 stage to go through. And I would go through in that manner in terms of the people that you reach out to, because each of those stages, you'll probably have to open up more offerings, whether that's through your return on investment, equity, so on and so forth.
Definitely.
So yeah, those are the 4 that we initially
Yeah.
went for. Because the way that I see it is if you can get people in from friends and family initially. Now, actually, I'll say this point before I continue. Only go to people who you think can invest. If you're reaching out to friends and family of yours at this stage and you're asking them to invest, one, you may be met with a very blunt force like, that's not really something that should cross over into family. And I experienced that myself, and I know that you probably did. But it's not necessarily meaning that these people don't want to invest in you and invest in your dreams. But crossing that line with some individuals just might not be what they believe should be the case. And you've got to respect that. And also, if they're not in a position to invest, don't put somebody else who's a family or friend of yours at the position of going that they had to say no to. Because some people will say yes, and then you're putting them in a position of risk, which isn't fair. So only reach out to people that you can viably see as proper investors for your business.
100%. And also, don't be offended if a friend or a family member goes, no, I don't want to do business with a friend or family, because that is a common saying.
And that's a really good point for some people. Like, if they don't want to cross that line, then don't cross that line.
No, exactly.
And anyway, so moving on from there, then I would say work out what you want to give up at each stage, because that's something that we'll get onto as well a little bit later on. As Jamie mentioned earlier, it's about what's in it for them. When it comes to the friends and family stage, you could promise a smaller sort of return. It's not saying that what they're going to get is going to be less out of it, but what they may understand won't be that they want equity, may not be that they want X, Y, and Z that you can put on the table. Instead, they might just be there like, if you give me £1,000, I will give you back 1,500 in 2 years' time. It could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, because when it comes to like friends and family, a lot of them just want to support you and see you go for your dreams and chase it, because they know they'll probably get, I guess, the benefits later on and reap the rewards later on.
Exactly.
But so yeah, you can almost leverage that relationship to its extreme and go, I'll give you, a return on investment rather than any equity or something in the business.
Certainly. And then I'll touch on the other end of the spectrum, the VC funds and the angel investors. And there'll be a grey area in between the two when it comes through. But the angel investors and funding groups, they'll be wanting typically equity or some form of ownership of the company or some sort of like pay per sale sort of deal acquired, and may even potentially come on board with you as like a member of a chair or whatever else that you've got working. There's going to be more that you have to put on the table.
Directors board or something like that, which will then give them some sort of money that you have to pay them. A lot of angel investors as well need to see proof of concept. If you actually don't have a physical product or something that they can use, then they'll probably turn you away.
Exactly. A really good point of that. It's like watching those shows on The Apprentice. When they get towards that stage of like meeting investors and people that are actually going to invest, because you understand what these people want. So if you haven't, if you're going towards that stage of your investment like searches, go through and watch that sort of stuff on YouTube, because it will be really useful information.
And you'll find out actually a lot of people have a budget. Like if you're under 100k, they won't even look at you. It's not worth it to them almost, which is crazy.
There was that that podcast that we were listening to before we even started this journey. And that was the guy who said like he met some venture capital investors and stuff. And they said, you're thinking way too small scale. And he was asking for like $1 million. And they were still like, you're thinking way too small. Like, you've got to be talking like in the region of 50, 60 million, making a big corporation. He's there like, wow.
And that was like within Silicon Valley and stuff like that. So
and that was his biggest
big
dream.
Dogs, And he had to turn around and go, right, I've got to rethink everything.
Yeah, the biggest dream he ever had was almost too small to be considered, which is a real reality
like a
check.
Stepping stone for them,
Big time.
Mental.
And then lastly, what I would say is like in terms of finding these reliable sources, OpenVC is a great place to go and check. It proves like check size, investment focus, all sorts of other things, and helps you build a shortlist as well of like relevant individuals. And then what I would do from there is cross-reference. You can use things like Seed Legals, there's Investment Europe, there's Airtree Ventures, loads of comprehensive data out there. And then what I would do is the next stage is go on LinkedIn, because typically on companies like LinkedIn and stuff, you can see what their previous investments have been. And then when it comes towards meeting these individuals, you can be very highly astute and research just to go, you've invested here, here, and here with this and that, so on and so forth. We're the next thing for you. So that's what I would say in terms of finding them.
And in terms of reaching out to them as well, like ping them on all socials, email them, Insta them, LinkedIn them, everything. Because there might be one that they happen to look at, and that's your message at the top or something like that. So have a look into that. But when it comes to actually like reaching out, I guess more in terms of a personal standpoint, what we did, especially to our own network, was we would go out in terms of step one, send a nice warm message, quite short, but basically alluding to what we want from this kind of message and investment. So we essentially came out, we reached out to people saying, if you're interested, please reply back, and if you're not, we perfectly understand, and you can say no. Like, it's not a big issue, but when you reply back, give us your contact details or best email, whatever it may be. So the people that did reply back, then step 2 came in place, which was essentially telling them how much we are looking for in terms of investment. So straight away off the back, they know, right, they want X amount, how much can I give, or how much am I willing to give? Then giving them a bit of a nugget in terms of what we're looking to do, in terms of what industry we're looking to go down. However, we don't give them too much, because it's important to understand you have things like NDAs in place to protect yourself.
Yeah, massively.
So at the end of step 2, you kind of say, if you're interested, please reply back. We'll send over an NDA and also our business plan so they can read it. So that's step 3.
Yeah.
Send over the NDA. Send over your business plan so they can have a good read through, prep any questions they need to. So when it comes to step 4, which is organising and arranging a date, a time, a location to actually have your pitch and meeting, they have a load of questions ready for you guys to answer. So that's kind of how we broke it down in terms of step 1 to 4.
It was. One thing I would say in that is you can hear like the amount of communication that is back and forth. You need to kind of blend a fine line between persistence and badgering. So if somebody's got through stage 1, they're interested in stage 2, but then they haven't replied to that email in 3 or 4 days, you've got to be scrutinous with yourself to kind of say, okay, if I send them an email on Monday, if I haven't heard by Wednesday, I'll hit them up on Thursday morning to say the close will be Friday to try and get back to us.
Yeah.
You want to keep the ball moving, because momentum is everything when it comes to investors. You don't want to have things wait a couple of weeks and then say, oh, by the way, did you ever think about, because by that point, why would they bother responding to you? Like,
no, exactly.
Like, you've kind of wasted a lot of time there allowing silence to kind of fill the gap.
And I think what we also did is we had a deadline in which we wanted everyone to meet to, but it was like an internal deadline which we didn't really share. But we started this process almost a month and a half out from the actual deadline.
Yeah.
And we made sure that we were following up on people. So once we gave them almost another friendly reminder, are you still interested, blah, 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 and we had no reply, we'd pretty much cross them off the list, because there's no point going back and back.
Rightfully so, yeah, definitely. Don't keep putting yourself out there, because once you've got that list of 100 people, you've got 99 more to choose from.
And
just
also,
keep working through it.
As you mentioned, you're talking about step 1 and 2 there. There's also points in step 3 and step 4, which you might not get replies back straight away.
Yeah,
and it's how you juggle that, and it's how you, like you mentioned, how persistent you are. And if you're going to start badgering them and annoying them, that's the fine line you don't want to tread on.
True. And it's when it comes to that communication, being very smart, especially at the very first collection of people, the friends and family, try not to be too sort of personal with them, in the sense that you're kind of having like a chat. Keep it professional. Prove to them that this is an angle and a side of yourself that is going to follow a very strict business plan that they can believe in. They'll be able to look at you from that and go, wow, like this is a really different side to Jane. This is a really different side to Ollie that I'm seeing. I like that, and I can believe in the fact that this is a business, rather than being there like, oh, Mum, do you mind if... Because you might as well ask for pocket money, do you know what I mean? Like,
and your friends and family probably know you as a friend or a family member. Maybe you're a bit silly or funny, whatever it may be. Like, they had never seen your professional side. Exactly. So it's important to introduce that to them. And everyone knows you've got multiple personalities. Like, it's not a hidden fact anymore.
Yeah, true. No, I'd say that's definitely the sort of oversight. The amount of people who would say to me, oh, God, this is a really different side of you. Like, and then I'd see them on the weekend and I'd be just my silly self.
Anyway, following that, talking about silly things, we're going to go on to workplace stories now, where we have the funniest interview moments, board meeting moments, whatever you can find.
Yeah.
I am excited for this one.
I'm really excited for this one as well. Let's get on into it, shall we?
Yeah.
Woo! And we're into workplace stories. We are doing the craziest moments that have come from boardrooms, interviews, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the
meetings in general. So I'm going to kick us off.
Go on.
It's called, genuinely, the Sliders' Success.
No way.
A high school freshman
Is it us?
rushed to a summer job interview, throwing on his slacks, a dress shirt, but forgetting.
I like that word. No, that's a new word.
Forgetting. He's so busy that he forgot. Not just forgot, he forgot.
Forgetting.
Forgot to swap his navy blue sliders for loafers. He realised the mistake only when stepping out of the car into the building, but chose to proceed with the interview. The interviewer didn't actually notice or care. The candidate actually managed to land the job before walking outside to their parents' dismay when they saw the fact he was still wearing his sliders.
I guess if he's under a desk, he's safe, isn't
I think the sliders would have been a win if they saw it.
Yeah, you just got to play with it.
Can you imagine the whole dress suit and then just sliders?
How do you get that wrong? I'm sorry. That is
the one thing I'm thinking, he's obviously changed his trousers, but not changed his shoes. Like,
no, you put your trousers on, then you slip your shoes on.
To walk maybe downstairs, but then just walk straight out the door. I don't know. Like, anyway, the Sliders' Success.
Right, I've got one then.
Go on.
Classic lag.
Classic lag.
All right. So this person had an interview for a very, very large company.
Okay.
The computer, though, because obviously it's all AI generated and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the AI generated computer would ask a question and you record your answer to send to the team.
They're doing AI interviews now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's like a question that like someone will read it out and then they go record and you have to play. So you have 30 seconds to answer. No more, no less.
Wow.
And once 30 seconds is over, they cut it off, obviously. So this lady, for one question, ran out of things to say in the 30 seconds for this question.
Okay.
So decided to just stand there really still and not blink for the last 15 to make it look like the video froze. Just like...
That is high IQ there. Can you imagine someone like walked in the background?
Like something blows it, flaps in the background.
The curtain's just moving, you're like...
I respect it though.
I respect that as well. That's so funny. I wonder how
15 seconds.
I wonder how she got caught out. What they said. Oh, that's funny. Right, I've got one that I think we've all gone through this at some point in life, in normal life, but to happen in the interview, I thought was just hilarious. Right. It's called A Little Unfair.
Okay.
And this girl, she'd hype herself up for her first ever summer job at the local grocery store.
Yeah.
And as she got out of the car to walk in for her interview, the interviewer stood behind the sliding doors of the grocery store. She walks up to shake her hand and she trips and falls right on her face through the door.
Oh,
The interviewer apparently was laughing so hard that she couldn't compose it throughout the whole
shame.
interview, and she didn't get the job because she was so embarrassed because she then forgot everything she was going to say. So she tripped
bro.
and it screwed everything up, which I find hilarious.
That's
God, you got to feel
so
bad.
Surely you just go, as an interview, like, fair, I can see you're a bit flustered,
Yeah.
just come back another time.
Like a little bit unprofessional from the interviewer, but the girl forgot
Shame.
everything she was going to say, so clearly they couldn't
Managed
give
to
her
just
the
like
job.
split her head open,
Can you
just gushing
imagine?
blood.
She doesn't get any HR complaints or anything because she hasn't employed yet.
Any questions? Oh my god, that's
Have you
brilliant.
got an ice pack?
That's fantastic. Mine all are quite like online ones, right? Because
Okay,
I think
cool.
this is when the funniest ones happen.
I see, I
Anyway,
see.
so we've got online interview, just
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah? I had a video interview with a tech company. So naturally, oh my god, this is actually brilliant. I only put on a shirt and tie,
Yeah.
comfortably sitting in my boxers. In my living
Proper
room.
COVID sort of times, isn't it?
Halfway through the interview, they gave me some tasks to do.
Oh,
So I had to get up and go get a pen and piece of paper. I got up, walked all the way to the other side of my room, came back, sat down with the computer. Only after I finished talking to them, I realised they've seen absolutely everything.
Oh my
But he
god.
didn't get the job. But imagine if
No.
he did, though.
Oh,
or imagine what they're
that's
talking
brutal.
about. They've got a story for life there.
Very true. Very
He's like,
true.
oh, pen and paper.
Imagine if he was like wearing like proper like
Oh,
speedos
mate,
or something.
it's-
Oh,
yeah,
man,
like,
that'd be hilarious.
That's something Simo.
They almost
Simo
can't
would
employ
do
him.
that.
Simo would 100% do that. Right, my next one's Subway. So
Go on.
the craziest interview happened today.
Okay.
I walked into Subway to be hired, and halfway through my waiting time before the interview started, I had a frantic text from the guy running the interview saying, "Come downstairs ASAP, put one of the shirts on in the spare break room. We're in a non-stop rush and desperately need you."
They
So the
didn't
guy just
stop.
went, Sky went, oh shit, turned around, grabbed a green shirt, put it on, went downstairs, started working. Didn't even do the interview, just walked in.
Just
And they
succeeded.
said, we're in a frantic rush, please get downstairs, grab a shirt on the way down.
What?
Genuinely.
Did he
got-
get-
Yeah, he got the job,
Yeah,
started
I
working
bet.
there straight away.
Wow.
So yeah,
How'd
that
you
was
just
his...
like get straight into
I
it?
know,
Like,
right?
Get
I mean,
stuck in. I don't even
guess
know where
like
to
maybe like a
start.
bit cleaning, like throwing stuff
Yeah,
in the oven,
probably like-
stuff like that in
yeah,
Subway.
yeah. Imagine he's just
I
there
thought
like
that was
making
hilarious.
sandwiches, like yo.
And he
sure.
said, thank God I brought a pen because he would have to apparently write down loads
Oh,
of things
right,
as well.
fair. Well, mental. That's actually crazy.
I
that
know,
one.
right?
Right, here we go. The Zoom filter disaster.
Oh God, I can see where this is going.
So obviously, a lot of people have heard about the court one. Have you seen that one?
The court one? I
Yeah,
haven't seen
someone
the
in
court
court, and he goes, "Judge, I promise I'm not a kid." And he's got a little cat filter. And they're like, "We're gonna have to redo." This is during COVID. They're like, "We're gonna have to redo." He's like, "No, Judge, it's me. I swear. I just don't know how to get it off." And then the judge is like, "No, we're gonna have to
got
redo
to
this
see
because we
that.
need
That's
proof." It
hilarious.
is so funny.
Oh,
I'll show
I've
you
got
it.
to watch
I'll show you
that.
it after.
Sure,
Anyway,
please.
so this one. So there's a Gen Z applicant, right?
Yeah.
She logs in to a big job interview on Zoom.
Okay.
Camera on, mic ready, everything's perfect, apart from her face. It's literally a breakfast plate. Fried eggs for eyes, sliced toast as a forehead, bacon as a smile.
Oh, my
The interviewer goes, obviously staying composed, "Sorry, I think your filter's on. Do you mind changing it?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm not feeling 100% today. So I
What?
thought this would help with the vibe."
Oh, she did it on
Yeah,
purpose.
so she
Oh, I
turns,
thought
but then
it
she
was an
turns it
accident.
off and becomes a giant strawberry for the rest of it. And she stayed like that the whole interview.
Oh,
Didn't
I
get
thought it
the
was an
job,
accident.
but she's TikTok famous now because of this as
Oh,
well.
for sure.
So it paid off in the
That's
long
really
run.
funny. I thought she was
Jesus.
sat there as a breakfast plate, not knowing how to turn
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, my next one. This isn't actually during the interview. This is beforehand. And It's
Right.
called the bus change debacle.
Okay.
Right. A candidate stressed about the late public transport had to change from shorts into an interview skirt on a crowded bus to make a 2 p.m. interview.
Yeah.
With only 15 minutes left, they crouched down on the bus, shimmied out of their shorts, zipped up the skirt, and swapped into heels while the passengers were all watching. They made it to the interview on time, skirt intact, and the chaotic wardrobe change became a hilarious tale of the interview. And then she ended up getting the job and telling everybody about the fact that she got naked on a bus pretty much from the hips down just to make sure she was dressed appropriately.
Crazy.
I know, right? The effort some people go to.
Honestly.
I'll tell you about it.
Mental. All right. We've got another one here. And this
Go for
actually leads me on to a bit of a personal story. But if you've got another one,
I got one more. Yeah.
So we got the slip up. During an interview, they said they were going to do a word association test.
Okay.
It's where they say a word and you say the first thing that comes to mind.
There's one on our socials.
For example, they said fruit. She said apple.
Mm-hmm.
They said transportation. She said car. Everything was going really well until they said camel. And she instantly said toe.
I think that's brilliant.
And then she tried to correct herself by saying, I mean hump, quickly. One of the men was trying so hard not to laugh, but the others were dying in the background. However, they thought it was so funny that they decided to take her on. However, she was so embarrassed she had to excuse herself from the interview. But when she got back, they were like, you're in, don't worry.
So
that was
funny.
brilliant.
Yeah, I'll give her that. Right, my last one is a side of McAwkward. This is, when I read this story, I had to stop myself from laughing.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll try and get through it all. I had a job interview for McDonald's, got there early, and I had a look around because I was quite restless. So I decided to open a door and ended up going inside. It was into the kitchen, which was completely empty at the time. I walked around and passed some nuggets, and I thought, I think I'm going to help myself.
In the back door of the kitchen, by the way.
I decided to leave back through the door I came, and suddenly the manager appeared in front of me with a clipboard. He reached for the hand that was holding the nuggets. There was an awkward moment as I slid the nugget into my suit jacket pocket to then shake his hand. He then led me into the office, pulled up a camera, and there was a long pause before he said, "Did you just steal a chicken nugget from the kitchen?"
Way.
I looked very uncomfortable and chose not to respond. He simply said,
"No comment."
"I think you should go." She just walked straight back out.
You got a free nug out of it anyway. Fair play.
I got it there for a job interview.
What? I want to see that footage, man. That'd be hilarious. It's all about,
This is the idea of her stood in front and going with the chicken nugget into the suit pocket before shaking the hand.
Wiping off the grease.
Man, that's so
That's
funny.
brilliant. Anyway, referring back to the slip-up one, right?
Oh,
In terms of the word association.
Yeah.
I've personally had something quite similar.
Did you?
So I had an interview once, right? And they asked me the most stupid question. They were like, if you could be any superhero, who would you be? And I was like, hold on. Am I applying for a superhero role? Like, what is going on right
I'm
now?
applying to the Avengers.
Like, generally. So, right, this is what I say, yeah? I go, off the top of my head, I'm like, all right, I don't want to look like I'm stuttering or going, I was like, Spider-Man. And they were like,
say why?
yeah, they were like, oh, please tell us more. Why? I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, how am I supposed to know? I was like, so yeah, like, he acts as like this normal human in the day, and then at night he like saves the planet. He has like two different sides to him, and that's what I'm like at work. I'll work hard and help people, but then in my social life, I'm relaxing.
Good save.
And I was like, and he shoots webs at the end. But yeah, honestly, mate, when someone throws...
Did you get the job?
No. I didn't want it anyway, to be fair.
After that question.
I was like, what are you on about?
Do you know what? That's definitely some interviewer that was there. Oh, this would be a sick question.
Yeah.
Write it down and then like just it make no sense.
Nothing to do with the role or any like at all.
That's so funny. I mean,
But I
we've spoken
hate
about
it,
that.
I
Oh no,
hate
you
it.
spoke about being Iron Man, didn't you, on a previous episode?
Iron Man, yeah, that'll be sick.
Was that, have you changed your mind now to him?
No, not Spider-Man.
Okay.
It was just literally the first superhero I can think of off the top
That's
of my
so
head.
funny.
Anyway, I'm sure there are plenty out there from people out there. And if there are, comment it down below. Send it in through our email as well, or any of our socials. Man, we love
some
to
of the
hear
craziest
things like
questions
that.
you've heard, or like moments you had. Even in we
Embarrassing
touched
moments,
mostly on
anything.
interviews there, but like board meetings and other
There's
things,
got to be
office
so
meetings. There's got to be a bunch in there.
So many.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right, we'll get back into finishing the episode off.
Man.
But thank you so much for joining us on Workplace Story.
Yeah. Rightio. What an ep.
That's cool. I just watched the
enjoyed
cat
this, yeah.
video. It was hilarious.
Oh, it is
was
brilliant.
absolutely
It is
hilarious.
brilliant. We've had to judge some brilliant ideas.
We
earlier
became
today.
investors ourselves
Yeah.
in many ways.
Well, it
really.
depends what they do with the money, but yeah.
True. But we believed in an idea and we invested. So congratulations to
100%.
you. Go check out the socials. We'll make sure to plug
Yeah.
them up
We'll
there.
probably be doing a similar competition, and we might even up the stakes
Yeah.
next time as well if this goes really well. So.
And if you've got any ideas, right now, fire it in the comments
Ping 'em.
because we'll read all the comments for
Yeah.
this episode.
You might be selected for the next one as well.
Exactly. And I mean, winning £50, that's pretty good.
Oh, it
Maybe
might-
we
it
can
might
up
be
the
up,
stakes in the
yeah.
futures. Like, we'll try and up the stakes in the future. Obviously, we're an early doors podcast, but
Yeah.
we will do our best for you lovely people at
Exactly.
home.
And you can do whatever you want with the money. It's not like
Exactly.
it's forced.
True. But thank you so much once again for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the socials. We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got them all.
Turn that notification bell on.
Definitely do so.
Definitely check out our Spotify as well. Give us a 5-star rating. It
Certainly.
really helps. Everything helps.
And then last of all,
The
if
most important.
you really want to stick around, if you want more, if you're itching, if you're sat there going, oh, no, it's over. Not, oh, yes, it's over. Then go check out the Patreon for the brand old sum of
£4 a month.
but just the price of a coffee. And funnily enough, we've got a coffee segment on it, but I won't spoil it for you,
You know
any more
what,
than that.
actually? I'm thinking for our next competition that we run,
Yeah.
in terms of if we're going to do it similar to GECKO'S,
Yeah.
we should do it on the Patreon only and
That's
give
a
them
good
like
point.
£100 or something like that.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
You've heard it here first, people.
You could win
the next
100
GECKO'S
quids.
Basement is going to be on Patreon. You open yourself the opportunity to winning £100, which
Yeah.
basically pays
Almost
for
2 years of Patreon.
over 2 years.
1 year to 10
4
months.
times
together.
12, over 2 years. Yeah, 2 years and a bit. Yeah, £48 a year.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
No,
No.
12 times 4,
No,
48.
you're right,
yeah.
you're right, yeah. Quick maths.
Yeah. 48. Sorry, I had to double check myself. Over 2 years of Patreon just for
Bosh.
being there. Look at that.
Yeah, and
That's
there'll be
insane.
a lot more competitions that we run on there where you get more chances to win lots of cool, decent prizes.
Certainly. But we shall say no more. We're going to head over there now. But once again, thank you for
No
being
more.
here. We'll see you next week. We love you to pieces.
Yeah, episode 17 upon the horizon.
17. Wowza.
Woo.
Toodle pip, my friends.
Adios. Or cheerio.
Yeah.
I keep mixing
you
them
got
up,
it wrong
man.
like 3 times in a row now, man.
Sugar plums.
Tom, getting a bit about the cat there.
Yeah, do the cat one.